Peace, everyone. I'm back again after my emotional outburst yesterday about things that are just not true in the Book of God. So today I will try and be less boisterous about that, whatever I speak about. So I'm going to continue with some of these things that we are taught and preached by the so-called elite leaders of faith on earth, and specifically the so-called Muslim faith that is absolutely the worst example of what man can become from his desires and thoughts that are absolutely deluded. So let's talk about this blasphemy and blasphemy laws in the so-called Muslim world. So apparently most of these people in the Muslim world can kill the person who commits blasphemy. So let's go to the root of blasphemy. Blasphemy in the Quran, the Arabic Quran, it means kufr, the act of blasphemy, or kafir, the one who commits, the rejecter, so blasphemer. The word actually means reject, or the one who rejects, which is a rejecter. I mean, the English dictionary apparently doesn't have that word, but I'm pretty sure it's quite obvious. The one who rejects is a rejecter. So if you look in the Quran, every messenger that has come to mankind from the beginning to now till the end is mocked. So now when you look at what they do to people who mock Muhammad, they kill him. So all messengers were mocked. Did you see or hear of any messenger killing people who mocked them or him? I don't see that happening anywhere in the book. You can go and look. It's just a lie. So these laws called blasphemy laws, that you can't mock the messenger of God or mock messengers of God, and for that you will go be killed. That's bullshit. So I mean, if I mock any messenger of God, God will hold me responsible for that. And if you mock any messenger, God will hold you responsible for that. God, His Spirit, and the angels. I'm not sent to enact the judgment. I'm here to deliver the message and to judge with the message over all of you, whoever's in front of me, whatever semblance of creation that comes to me or any knowledge, I will use the book of God to judge over you. That's it. I am the judge and jury. Oh, he's the judge. Yeah, the messenger is the judge and jury from God, obviously. He is not the executioner. In no way, shape or form, till the command of God comes. And that is in the hands of God. We have no power over it. We have no ability to stop it, like when the angels came to Abraham before they went to destroy the city of Lot. Abraham tried to stop them. No, he can't even stop it. Nobody can stop the command of God when it comes. And He will tell whoever He wants to enact His command. The Spirit and the angels are the primary. So, the act of blasphemy requires no response except to you, your way, and to me, my way. We separate our ways. You cannot stop me from saying what I want to say. I can't stop you from saying what you want to say, unless we have a battle, we have a war, we have a debate. We can stop each other with our words, not with our hands and feet. If you start hitting me, I can hit you back. But if I just say words against any messenger and against any prophet, which does not sit well with your soul, that's your problem. I don't care. You can say about Muhammad whatever you want. You can say about Jesus whatever you want. I will say about them what I want. And these people make fun of Moses, and nothing perturbs these moronic so-called Muslims on the earth. But you say anything against Muhammad, and it's like a cardinal crime which needs to be punished by death. I mean, there's very few things in the Quran that the edict or the judgment is a person being killed. And there are very few. You can go look them up. I'm not going to go into that. But there is nothing that says to you that you got to kill someone for blasphemy or rejection. I mean, in the so-called Muslim world, if you turn against their religion, which is supposed to be the religion of Muhammad, you're supposed to be killed. I mean, absolute garbage about that. It's absolute lies, absolute delusion. There's no such thing. These laws must be struck down. If you hold the Quran and then you bring their laws in their country based on obviously they're figuring out the faith, let's see where the Quran allows them to do what they're doing. You won't find it. Go try. There's nothing. The messenger just says to you, your way, soon you will know the punishment. One, it comes over him, the punishment, the one that the punishment will come over, you'll know who it is. Don't worry. God is aware with one who's guided. So these are all absolute lies. And it's complete blasphemy. The absolute blasphemy is their blasphemy laws, to put it in perspective. So let's go to the next one, where prayer at the mosque is better, or prayer at the church or synagogue. You want to add it to the others, go ahead. Same stuff, that you go to the prayer at the congregation, it's better. So now look into the Quran and tell me where it tells you that praying at the mosque is better. I'll wait here till I die. You won't come back to me. So, all garbage, lies. There's nothing in the Quran to that effect. Nothing at all. There's a day of gathering, God says, the day of coming together, which they say Jummah, the Friday prayers, and the word Jummah means coming together. So you come together to pray once in a while, not 5 times a day. Where does it tell you in the Quran you have to go to the mosque 5 times a day to pray? First of all, there aren't any 5 prayers. That's also absolute garbage. So this is fundamentally a lie. They will say that if you pray at the mosque in Kaaba, Masjid al-Haram, the Kaaba and the surrounding mosque, the one prayer is worth 100,000. And then they add that praying at the mosque in Jerusalem, Aqsa Mosque, is worth 125,000 times. So I'll do a quick math. If obviously they're all lies. If they say it's 5 prayers a day, so if I pray once at the mosque which is in Makkah, that's like 20,000 days. Let me divide that by, say 365, more or less. 54 years. I pray twice and I don't have to pray at all. I'm not going to live to 108. So, what a bunch of lies. And this is just to make people envious. They want you to go there, to make you want to go there and kill yourself getting there, which is a bunch of lies as well, absolute lies. So at the at the mosque in Jerusalem, it's supposed to be 125,000, which turns out to be approximately 68 years. So basically, I pray once there and, I'm done for the whole life. Yeah, there's a bunch of garbage, absolute lies. They spread lies left, right, and center. There's nothing of the sort. There's nothing that says praying at home is worse than praying at the mosque. God does say come once in a while to get together and come and pray together. There is nothing in the Quran that will tell you every 7 days, every 6 days, every month, every year, whatever it is. You have to figure it out for yourself and come together and pray. And their prayer on that congregational day, their Friday prayers, and just like the Jews and the Christians, is a cacophony of regurgitation of the same thing every week. I mean, how does that benefit anyone? You got to come together and share the knowledge that you have. And it's all garbage about that. It's absolute garbage. So let's go to another aspect. God is all forgiving. For the Christians, He's already forgiven them by killing Himself on the cross. Yeah. A bunch of lies. So why are you still here? Oh, for our grace, to give grace, to get grace, whatever it is. Why are you in this life? It's a measly existence of pain and suffering. Why are you still here if you've been forgiven? Why don't you move along? Get to the next life, the real life you believe there is, right? You Christians. And the Muslims, how is God all forgiving to all of you? None of you are punished. No evil comes to you. You haven't seen in the Quran that He destroyed all of mankind except Noah and those that were on the ships with him. You haven't seen that. So God is all forgiving, I guess. Yeah. That is God's forgiveness, right? That He destroyed most of mankind. And then after that, the people of Hud and Saleh and Abraham and Lot and Shoaib and Moses These were all forgiveness of God. He is all forgiving. Absolute lies. God is not all forgiving. God is not all merciful. That is the absolute truth. You want to have a problem with that, take it up with God. I don't care. And it's obvious in front of you. God enacts His revenge when and if He wishes. And He is not taking revenge for everything we do. Otherwise, we'd be wiped out today, all of us, yeah. Within instance, we'll be gone and done with and away with. That's how wretched mankind is to the core, and their innate inabilities, their innate capacity to absolute wretchedness and wickedness, which you can see in front of you today. I mean, today it's not hard to open your eyes and see the wickedness and wretchedness of mankind left, right, and center everywhere. We have to understand that we are that, and to turn away from that is pretty difficult. And the guide that God has sent us to turn away is the Quran, and then the Torah, and then the Injil. And all these three books have the righteousness in there. Of course, the Torah has been hidden and modified. The Bible has been crucified, to no pun intended, or maybe it is. It's been destroyed to the level that it's unbelievable. But there is truth in there. People will focus on the lies they've put in the Bible, not the truth and wisdom that is there, because people want to denigrate it, to repudiate what's in the Bible. So they will focus on what they've added, and obviously it looks wretched, and they will use that as an excuse to destroy the whole Bible and reject it as a whole. Absolute garbage. So God forgives who He wishes for what He wishes, but He will never forgive anyone for rejecting His existence. So, you can reject His existence. He lets you, but He'll never forgive you for that. And He will never forgive you for making equals to Him, like Jesus, Son of God, Spirit, Son of God. He will never let you get away with it. You will go to hell. Making equals, making yourself God, making your thoughts God, whatever you make God other than God, you cannot get away from God's wrath. After that, it will come to you. I mean, the death will come to you and the reality will come to you. And as far as His mercy, the same thing. He's not going to, and of course, rejecting the hereafter. I forgot about that. He ain't going to forgive you for that. So after that, He can forgive anyone He wishes for whatever He wishes. It's not carte blanche that He's going to forgive everyone for everything after that. Not going to happen. So another lie, absolute lie about God, all merciful. He's not all merciful. He's the merciful. His mercy covers and touches everything. But when He takes it away, His wrath and punishment destroys it. And the examples are in front of you, the generations that have died before us. So another one about that, it's absolute garbage. Lies they say about God. I mean, God is the Almighty. He does what He wants. He is not going to be questioned. You and I, we will be questioned, all of us. No doubt about it, for whatever we have done and whatever we have believed, we will be questioned. So let's go to the next one, call to prayer. Now these idiots, the so-called Muslims, have these 5 times a day that you have to be called to prayer. And they invented it over this guy called Bilal. His name is Bilal in their folklore fantasies of delusion and deception, that called this prayer. And Muhammad is part of that prayer, calling to the mosque of God. And in any way, shape or form, if you say other than God anyone's name in the mosques, you're going to be held accountable. It's written clearly in the Quran. You cannot call with God anyone in the mosques. This is an edict of God in the Quran. So first of all, you've just destroyed the commandment of God. And when you turn against the commandment of God, the answer and payback of that is not blissful for you guys. It's going to be quite insidious, and it's going to come to the Muslims already, so-called Muslims. They're not Muslims. I have to keep repeating this over and over, because people fall into the trap of Muslim. Like, Muslim is a 4-letter word today. Who is a Muslim? We'll talk about it in a little bit. But there is no call to prayer in the Quran. God forgot to say that you have to say certain words when you call people to the mosque for prayer, the congregational prayer, or the prayer that when you come together. Nothing in the Quran. So God, overlooked that aspect and let you invent whatever you want. It's better to have a bell or a horn than the call to prayer that they say in the so-called Muslim world. Absolute lie. Lie. First of all, there are no 5 prayers, so the call to 5 prayers doesn't come into the picture. There is nothing that tells you you have to go to the mosque to pray 5 times a day, to stop living and start walking back and forth to the mosque every day. I mean, like, are you crazy? You haven't got anything better to do in the service of God, like deliver His message, find out what the truth is. You just got to go to the mosque and come back, bang your head 6 times, 10 times on the floor, and you're good to go. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. So let's look at the aspect of the night of power. Yeah, they have this night of power. They call it the night of power, which is in the last 10 days of their month of fasting, the month of Ramadan. So they fight over whether it's 23rd or 25th or 21st or 27th or 29th. You have to find the night of power. Why do I have to find any night of power? There's nothing in the Quran that tells me I have to find that night. First of all, the top level, it is not one night that is being referred in that chapter, chapter 97. So let's look at this chapter. So it says, surely we send it down in nights of the measure. So the word, they say qadr means power, a night of power. There is no night in the title, so why do they say night of power as a translation? Nothing. It's al-qadr, the measure. What is the measure? Nights of the measure. What is the measure? The measure with which the Quran came down. We send it down. It is the Quran. Nights of the measure. It's nights. And what will make you understand what nights of the measure? Nights of the measure better from 1,000 months. Sent down the angels and the spirit in them with will of their Lord from every command. Peace here till rise of the dawn. So this is the last night when the Quran was being finalized, when this chapter came down. And there are 10 nights. I've explained it in how the Quran came down. There are 10 nights. And they start from the second night of that month of Ramadan. Every month will not have this. I mean, are you guys, is the Quran coming down every Ramadan? This is the nights the Quran actually came down. The 10 nights in the month of Ramadan in Jerusalem, when Muhammad and the followers went to do the contention in Jerusalem. So, it's unfortunately against anything and everything that you will say, obviously. And if I'm wrong, then you may be right. If you're wrong, I may be right. Or we may both be wrong. But we both cannot be right. That's for absolute truth. That you cannot get out of that equation. One of us has to be wrong, if not both. So I'm absolutely sure that what I'm saying is the truth and you're lying. So there you go about that one. There's no night of measure. I mean, there's no night of power. It's nights of the measure. It's not one night. It was all across the that month of Ramadan when Muhammad and his followers came to Jerusalem around 627 AD in the so-called Gregorian calendar. So about that one, that's the end of that. There's no night of power. You can forget about that now. You focus on some other things which are more interesting and important that might actually guide you to God. So then they say the followers of Muhammad are the best followers. No followers are better than the followers of Muhammad. So what, mankind changed suddenly? Every messenger that came, he was mocked. He was put down like an animal, like a rabid dog, mad, crazy, mystified, deluded. And suddenly, Muhammad comes and mankind suddenly changes and becomes the best followers. First of all, the people who say they're following Muhammad aren't following Muhammad at all, because he followed the Quran. They're not following the Quran, that's for sure. That's absolutely provable from the Quran itself. There's no doubt in that. Every small, big or medium-sized organization who says they are Muslims are not following this Quran in any way, shape or form, except their desires. Where the desires fit, they will follow it for 5 lines. The rest, no, that doesn't apply to us. Yeah, okay. So, first of all, you're not following Muhammad. If you were following Muhammad, you would be the best followers of God and Muhammad. Yeah. If you were really following Jesus, you would be the best followers. If you were really following Moses, you would be the best followers. And if you would really be following Abraham truly, you would be the best followers. So now, if all of them say they're the best followers under Jesus, Moses and Muhammad, then they all can't be. Obviously, there's a problem here. So fundamentally, all the followers of all of these 3 names they create and attach attributes to those guys are liars. Those guys are nothing like what these guys say they were. That's not happening. It did not happen. It cannot happen. They make them gods. When the messenger goes, the people that follow him start inventing in the signs of God, covering them up, hiding them, making themselves mighty, and holding and literally crucifying the books of God to serve their purposes. And that's why most of mankind who have any intellect will reject all of it, because this book is sent to control your minds, by the way, to control our minds. It is not, and it is to make us fear the hellfire, which is real. They make you fear everything other than the hellfire and God, obviously. You got to fear God, and obviously He tells you you're going to go to hell, so you got to fear God. He's going to put you in hell if you reject His word. Now they use that and twist it into making you fear whatever they say other than what's in the book. You got to fear God. You got to fear disobeying God and the books. Now the Quran is the absolute truth. You can go verify the Quran does not go left or right from what it says. Literally 99% of the time it's absolutely straight. In the edicts that are straight, the words that are absolute, you will not find in any way, shape or form a departure from the fundamental facts that the Quran states, which are absolutely clear. The mother of the book, the commanded signs, which are clear. You will not find a dichotomy, a departure from each other. The words will all confirm themselves. Now there are lots of parables and similitudes and metaphors that you and I cannot understand at the level that God understands. Some of us get to some understanding, others get more, some have less. Those things you don't have to fight about. You don't have to fight about that. Leave them alone. When you don't understand the fundamental facts and the fundamental edicts, then leave the rest alone. It's not your place to judge with those. Your place is to judge with what is told to you directly, which is obey God, obey the messengers, listen and obey the book, obviously, and the one who brings the book and proves the book to you. Obey him. That's the way it is. But you will obey your thoughts and your desires and what you want in the life of the world. There's no way that the followers of Muhammad are any different than the followers of Jesus and Moses and everyone before and after them. They're all going to run astray. They will be hypocrites, they will be liars, they will be falsifiers, they will be lovers of the life of the world over the hereafter. So yeah, that's all garbage. So let's look at the statement of the so-called Muslims that the Bible and the Torah is cancelled since the Quran came and a new law has come. Lie. Absolute lie. I mean, there is no bigger lie than that uttered by these garbage people. The Quran never in any way, shape or form cancels the Torah or the Bible. It tells the followers to go read the Torah. Unequivocally, it tells us to go read the Torah and also go read the Bible. Why not? It's telling you what they did to the Bible. You can't go astray if you know the Quran. You will find the flaws in the Bible the moment you read them when you know the Quran. Now, if you don't know the Quran and you're a Quran holder, then you might want to keep reading this Quran, and keep reading it over and over, because until you understand the clarity in the Quran, there's no point going anywhere else. Yeah, you got to find that stuff out. I did that. It took me 6 years before I went to the Torah and my eyes opened wider. And then I read the Bible and I'm like, okay, this is the fact. This is the truth. I absolutely submit to the Almighty God. He is the only one I need to obey, and then His messengers. And of course the books they bring, all of them. And the Quran being the absolute today. So of course nobody's going to follow this. It doesn't matter. The end is coming. And people say, oh, everybody who talks about catastrophe is a bringer of bad vibes. We create our own destruction by our own thoughts, so don't get into that thought process. Yeah, sure, okay, great. You guys can go think of beauty and absolute bliss in the life of this world, and no destruction will ever come to you. Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously, nothing's going to happen to you in this. You'll live forever. Once you think you want to live forever, you will live forever. What a bunch of liars. Absolute, deluded people who just want to live forever. You will, don't worry, in the hellfire after you die. You'll live forever there. Liars again. So who are Muslims? Muslims are the ones who follow Muhammad. Muhammad's followers are the Muslims. Jesus' followers are the Christians, and The four people who follow Moses are the Jews. Yeah, who is a Muslim? These people aren't Muslims. Muhammad is a Muslim, and so is Jesus, so is Moses, so is Abraham, so is the Holy Spirit, Gabriel, so is Abraham. So are all the angels, so am I. We are all Muslims. So then, how can you now tell me, and this is the absolute truth in the Quran, you can go read it, confirm it yourself. They call every messenger, every prophet a Muslim in the Quran. All the angels and the Spirit are Muslims. The heavens and the earths are Muslims. So they are all following Muhammad, I guess, yeah? What a bunch of lies. Absolute lies. These are the lies. Oh, it's today's Muslims are different than the old days Muslims. And no, morons. The Muslims have been the same forever. They submit to the one Almighty God, the creator of all heavens and earths, and the creator of all the angels and the Spirit and all of mankind and the demon kind and all of what is on the earth. He is the creator. We submit to him. That's why we're Muslims. We don't know anything else, yeah? When we're Muslims, that's what we know. One more aspect I'm going to go into. That women, this is the Muslim faith by the way today, women can't pray or fast when they have periods. Okay, so let's get into this. Where exactly does this say to you in the Quran that you cannot fast or pray when you are in periods if you're a woman? Where? Find that for me. Show me. The only thing it says is you cannot have sex with your spouses when they're in their periods. That's the only thing it says about periods. There is nothing that tells anyone that you cannot pray or fast. So now you can go search for it if you want. Go spend your lives. But of course, you have no patience for that. You've been told by your imams that that's the rule. That's what you got to be for. Oh, what a blasphemy just uttered. Women can fast and pray when they have their periods? Oh my God, that's like atrocity. What are you uttering? Do you know what you're uttering from your mouth? Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, it's absolutely what the Quran says, that there is nothing of that sort in the Quran. That's what it says. It says do not have sexual relations with your women when they are in periods. That's it. That's what's forbidden in the periods. Yeah, that's it. Other than that, there's nothing that says they cannot fast. There's nothing that says they cannot pray. Okay, so where have you brought this garbage from? Oh, your hadith and sunnah. Oh, the garbage that your so-called elitists gathered 300 odd years after Muhammad died. Yeah, just like what they did with the Bible in the Nicene Conference 300 years after Jesus came and went. You guys don't have any kind of creativity. Yeah? No originality. You do the same thing over and over. Make sons to God, Son of God, Son of God, sons of God. We're all children of God. Children of God. He is our Father, really. Yeah. When you look at this aspect of the Trinity, I'm going to end it at this. It's just a farce. Jesus is the only begotten Son of God. Are you out of your minds? You think God had relations with Mary through which Jesus was? That's what you're saying. That is what you're saying, uttering from your mouth that, no, you don't understand. It's like a theological thing that cannot be understood. So yeah, okay, but you're saying he's the begotten Son. What does begotten mean? It's pretty obvious. I don't have to spell it out. Begotten Son. Okay, so now God is having relations with Mary apparently, and Mary has a father. Yeah, obviously she was born to someone. Oh, he's what, the Father of God? That guy is the father of the Son of God? What are you talking about? He's the grandfather of Jesus, yeah? Also, he's the grandfather, Son of God, so he's the grandfather of Father of God. Oh, wow. You understand these things, and everybody does. It's pretty simple. You will delude it. Oh, no, you don't understand. It's a theological aspect. Just shut up. You guys don't understand anything. You have no iota of faith in your hearts. Your hearts are deluded to a level that you cannot understand because you've drunk the calf into your hearts. All of you have drunk the calf that the sons of Israel took at the time when Moses went for the 40 nights with God and came back with the whole Torah. All the explanation to mankind that God wanted to give came after those 40 nights. The whole law, all the book and the wisdom was presented to mankind. And during that 40 nights, the morons started worshipping the calf. And they drank the calf into their hearts. So, when you see this kind of stuff and you try and explain to me that I don't understand, I look back at you and all I have is like absolute hatred in my heart. There's nothing but hatred to see what people have done with the books of God, and they use their deluded thoughts and desires to go in any direction they want, which serves their purposes. And in the end you will all fall, just like I will fall and die, you will all fall and die. We'll then be resurrected, and we'll stand there and see who has any place to stand on that date. So that's about it for today on About That. I think I'm going to move on to something else. I've had enough smashing these people's absolute delusions for a couple of days. So, all right, I will see you next time, if wishes God. Till then, peace.